Universal Orlando is working on a new major land. I don't know officially what that land is going to be. There's a ton of rumors out there and speculation on what it could be. So we're going to talk about some of those options today and what I think is most likely, because you honestly might not be expecting what I think it's going to be. I'm also going to talk about like my dream scenario of a land that I one day want that I think would fit there, but I don't think it's coming. But I'm still going to talk about it briefly anyway. Before we get into what this could be, we got to talk about where this land is officially going. And that is the Lost Continent and Islands of Adventure. Now, we just found out and we just saw construction permits for essentially demolition of the Lost Continent. Now, the number one question you might have there is the restaurant Mythos. If you've walked by there, you've seen the sign that says world's best theme park restaurant for years. Mythos is safe as of right now. Now, I don't know if the outside will look a little bit different, but I think that'll be safe for the long haul. And as they're building whatever this new land may be, they first got to demo some things there, and then they'll build that land up. But they'll need that pathway where Mythos is on the left, and as you're walking towards Harry Potter and Velocicoaster from that way, they're going to need that pathway for a while, so I don't expect that to go away. You'll see construction walls kind of changing it, but I think that'll keep it open and the restaurant open, because honestly, it's a great restaurant. I hope it makes it all the way through there. It might take a different theming, but it's still a great restaurant. I recommend it for sure, but that will be safe. But let's head to the good old dandy screen recording to look at where we're talking about here so you guys get the right idea. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. Right between Seuss Landing and Harry Potter, you have this section right here. So you can see that's the old Poseidon's Fury show building right there in the middle. And then towards the top, there's that stage in that area right there. That stage also is not in use. Poseidon's Fury closed years ago, and it's just been sitting empty. Now, the theme of the land, the look of the land, I honestly really like. I was hoping something similar to that would maintain, but based off of some of these rumors, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And as I zoom in, like I said, you can see right there in the middle, that is the Mythos restaurant I was talking about. You can see right there to the right of that pathway that leads to Velocicoaster and leads to Harry Potter. I think that's going to maintain. It's really going to be this stuff on the right that's going to get demoed. Which is a shame, because I think it's an area that looks cool, but honestly, it makes sense. Now, what could be going there? That's the big question on everybody's mind. So let's break down some of these rumors. We're going to start with my dream land, because I just want to get it out of the way. I don't know why we don't have a Scooby-Doo land. That would be my dream land right there. Based off of the movies, based off of the TV show, I don't care. But having a Scooby-Doo, a zombie island, or a voodoo island from the movies, you know that ride they're on in the castle and stuff like that where they go around and they're like, that would be awesome. You could easily make that here. It would make for a great dark ride. You could do a zombie island one. You could do a roller coaster from the movie. There's so many opportunities here. So many opportunities. They've also been teasing Scooby-Doo. They just had at Volcano Bay Nights, they had Scooby-Doo gang catch a monster right there and reveal it right there in front of the volcano. They've been teasing some Scooby-Doo stuff. I honestly hope that means for a Horror Nights house in the future, but I think a Scooby-Doo land would be awesome. The character meet and greets, the food, you could do like Scooby and Shaggy snacks, the shops, a show, you could do it all. All of it could work right there. I think it would work out perfectly. Is it going to happen? No, not right now anyway. But that's my dreamland. But let's move on to the actual rumors of what could be coming. One of the number one rumors and the big rumor for Islands of Adventure has been Zelda. Zelda, I posted that on my TikTok and Instagram, and people were like, oh, is Zelda even popular? It's one of the most popular video game franchises in the entire world. Their world building they could do here, the way it could look like, I think would be awesome. It would be a gorgeous theme park land. And I thought, truly, I really thought this was the thing that was coming to Islands of Adventure next. It just made sense in that area. I thought they were going to take it over. And that still is a rumor on the table. And I believe they probably have plans or ideas for all of these potentially here. But I don't think this is the front runner right now. Zelda coming to Islands of Adventure. Again, would make a great dark ride. Would make a great show. I thought they could take over that show building and that building right there, and it would make for a great ride. Character meet and greets, obviously. And the big thing here is I thought for Nintendo, taking the Harry Potter method of we have Harry Potter in every park, so you have to go to every park. I thought with it, having Nintendo Land at Epic Universe, they'd want a spot in one of the other parks. They kind of don't want that right now. We'll talk about that more in a little bit, but it doesn't seem like that. If there is Zelda coming, from the rumors and what it sounds like, it is coming to Epic Universe one day. That's the plan. That's what they think. That's the rumor. Again, nothing confirmed, but apparently they want that in the Epic Universe expansion lot. They think it would fit better there. They probably would have a little bit more space, but we'll see. We'll talk about that in a future video where I break down the whole future and rumors of all of Universal Orlando. But right now we're just talking about islands and what's replacing the Lost Continent. So Zelda, a rumor. but doesn't look like the favorite right now. Another rumor we have is One Piece. Now, people might not be familiar with One Piece, but they've been testing it at FanFest nights, and it's been doing well at character meet and greets. It's also a very, very popular franchise. If you've seen anything of One Piece, and I'll put some clips right here, it's made for a theme park. It would be awesome. It would make a great boat ride for sure, I think would be the ride they'd focus on. The character meet and greets would be awesome. The food would be awesome. There would be a lot of opportunity for entertainment and attractions here and to expand on this world. Now, I don't think Universal would be too scared to do it. You know what I mean? That it might not be popular mainstream yet enough, but I think it's trending that way. And I think this is a land that people would go into, similar to Lost Continent. They wouldn't have expectations and they'd be blown away. Like how original lands are at some of these parks, like how Lost Continent was. You go in there, you could still enjoy it. It would be like, wow, this looks great. I think One Piece has maybe the most potential out of all of this. It really feels like a theme park land already, just between the colors and the characters in it. It feels like it's made for that. That is a rumor, and I think One Piece definitely will have some place in the parks one day. They're definitely seeing how FanFest Nights works, but it sounds like it's going good. I also think the next thing we'll see for One Piece at Universal Orlando will probably be our version of FanFest Nights at Epic Universe. I think that will come one day, and I think we'll see characters and stuff there, but I don't think it's getting a land anytime soon. But that was a rumbling right there. They probably have some ideas and stuff, some blue sky ideas, but nothing concrete. That's also not the favorite. Let's talk about a big one that everybody has been pushing recently, especially, is Wicked. Will Wicked ever get a theme park land? Mark Woodbury, the guy who does all these interviews talking about their theme park expansion, who runs all that for Universal, has said he would love to explore a Wicked themed land. And let's talk, I mean, the yellow brick road leading into the land, Oz, what you could do with all of that would make a great theme park land for sure. I would want some sort of, I think, roller coaster would, I think, look the best if they did this. Maybe a dark ride. I know the favorite would be like, ooh, a flying simulator on a broomstick, but they literally have one in the next land over at Forbidden Journey where you're watching somebody fly a broomstick. I really... No, I just don't think that would fit. I would prefer a roller coaster or a classic dark ride in Oz. The show, I mean, the obvious show there is to do a condensed version of Wicked. You could do that. Would be awesome. Obviously, if you've seen Wicked, you could do Shiz University. We've already seen, though, what merch looks like because they have that Wicked experience at Universal right now. We've had character meet and greets already a little bit. And we've had food a little bit right there in Universal. So it's definitely been tested and they've seen that merchandise place now. They haven't really updated it much, and we'll see how much they update it for Wicked for Good when that movie comes out this year. The hype is post the movie. I think it's something they definitely would explore in the theme parks. I think it would make more sense as Epic Universe in a small area, like a very small land. Maybe a show, or maybe just a small land. We'll see. I don't think that's coming here at all to Islands of Adventure, even though technically on paper it makes the most sense. And this is what I want to talk about. If you don't know, Islands of Adventure, everything's supposed to be like based on literature, like a book or something like that. Obviously, you have Marvel, you have the comic books, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, Dr. Seuss. All of that stuff is based off of books and stories like that. So people, when I suggested these things that could potentially be coming, people were like, nope, it has to do with literature. I think you're right. It definitely did have to do with literature at Islands of Adventure. That definitely was how they built that park. I think that's going away. I think money talks. I think they're going to move away from that and have a new land that technically isn't literature. But they might also have a loophole about that, which we're going to get to the final land I wanted to talk about, frontrunner for the new land at Islands of Adventure that will replace the Lost Continent. And that is Pokemon. Yep. Believe it or not, Pokemon. Now, I know Nintendo kind of has their hand in this, but it's not like Zelda level. So maybe that's kind of where I'm saying the exception is, where they're like, oh, we'll have Pokemon here. Pokemon's been long rumored to come to Universal. Long rumored. The big talk was that it was going to replace Simpsons Land. Now, we're going to talk about this more, like I said, in a future video when I talk about the future of Universal Orlando. But it sounds like Simpsons might be hanging around a little bit longer than we thought. We thought this might when the contract expires, I think in 2028, towards the end of this, next couple years, that Pokemon would then be the thing that goes there. And I do think it fits better there. However, the rumblings are that Pokemon is now the favorite to take over at Islands of Adventure. Now, there is a ton you can do here. Pokemon, obviously, super popular. Across the board. People love Pokemon. Pokemon Go, I mean, you remember that resurgence 7 years ago? Everybody was playing Pokemon Go. People are still playing that. The character meet and greets would be unbelievable. You could do the ride. I would expect when they do a ride here, something similar to Mario Kart, where it's this VR screen like headset, but also physical sets. That I have no basis on that. That's just what I anticipate. I don't think they would do a super thrilling attraction unless they did multiple, but similar to Nintendo World at Epic Universe, where you have Donkey Kong, which is more rough than it is thrilling. I think that's the extent of where it would go from a thrill perspective, and I think they would do a dark ride similar to Mario Kart. That's just what I think. Makes the most sense because you could just have Pokemon pop up on screen and stuff. They would want something like that. There'd be some sort of screen or VR elements here. You could do like a training academy, like Pokemon Training Academy for kids and stuff like that. You could do a battle arena. You could do a stunt show. There's so many possibilities here. I think Pokemon is the front runner right now. Things can change. Like I said, they probably have blue sky plans for a couple of these things, but Pokemon is the favorite right now. So you got to tell me, how do you feel about that coming to Islands of Adventure? I do think it fits better in the studios, but I think they could design a great land here in that world too. And technically, Pokemon cards, would that count as literature? This is what I'm saying. They could be like, oh, Pokemon cards, same as like comic books. I know comic books, but like Pokemon cards, and you get books of cards. I mean, I feel like, yeah, I feel like that's a reach. I feel like that's a reach, but I'm just saying they technically could probably go that route. I don't know. That's the favorite though right now. So you tell me, what do you think about that idea? Which land would you actually want? Or is there one I didn't even mention that you potentially want? I can tell you right now, these are the 4 that have actually had some steam behind them. I still think Wicked is a big want. I think One Piece is something obviously One Piece fans wants, and I think Universal wants to do something with it. I just don't think it's big enough yet. All of these options would make great, and I mean great, theme park lands with great attractions, great entertainment, great shows, great merchandise, great food. All of these have a ton of potential. We'll see how it comes to fruition. Right now, what we're going to see next in the construction, right now we've already kind of seen some of the Rip Ride construction. Again, I already talked about it, but we'll talk more in that video about the future of Universal Orlando, what's going to be going there. I still think it's Fast and Furious. They've already they've already removed most of that attraction. They've already started laying some groundwork for that, like bases. It's crazy how fast Universal moves. It really is. We'll see demolition next of the Lost Continent, so you won't see that area anymore. Universal is very hush-hush until like it gets close. So we don't know when it'll officially be there, but we'll hear more and more rumors and more things will leak as we go. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. And again, let me know what land you want to see in Islands of Adventure. Thank you for watching. I will see you on Sunday.